Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, offshore wind projects, you knew this is what I was going to talk about a little bit. Offshore wind projects are failing. And we know that the Ørsted 1 project failed off the coast of my district in South Jersey. Proposed projects now have failed in New York. And up and down the coast, many of them are in trouble. Yet for years at this point, the Maritime Administration, MARAD, has been giving subsidies to fund these projects, which many of them seem to be going towards the graveyard. In my opinion, no more funds should be allocated to these hemorrhaging money pits. Just last year, $202 million, almost $202 million were awarded to funding MARAD's budget supports of these ventures. If this money can be better utilized to further fund accounts such as operations and training or assistance to small shipyards, should we really be investing in something that is so obviously now becoming visibly non-viable and only drains our budget for very important work that you need to do? I believe the answer should be no, that we shouldn't be. Rear Admiral Phillips, thank you for being here today. How is the $202 million that was spent, how has that been implemented?
Sir, thank you for that question. It is correct that we have awarded over $200 million in grants to projects for port infrastructure development that have a connection to offshore wind. However, all of those grant projects are in those ports, support work that those ports would need anyway. They improve wharves, they improve transportation in and out of the port, they improve utilities. In fact, in New Jersey alone, a grant was awarded last year. That particular port is in part connected to offshore wind, ostensibly, but all of the obligations and requirements in the application are related to utilities development. So improving lighting, improving sewage, improving water, improving the infrastructure along the waterfront. So I would submit that while these ultimate grant opportunities are in support of offshore wind, the work that is being done to strengthen these ports provides opportunities for those ports irrespective of what their ultimate cargo becomes.
Thank you. If I'm correct and offshore wind turns out to be non-viable, let's just pretend that it doesn't go anywhere. Those improvements are still well spent. You believe they will be utilized even without these offshore wind projects?
I do believe they will be used irrespective of the ongoing work in offshore wind or not.
Do you believe the benefits of the funding outweigh the needs of other parts of MARAD's accounts, such as the ship disposal program and the tanker security program?
So those programs are funded in separate lines, and certainly the discretionary grant program is meant for a specific outcome, which is improving the movement of goods, and it supports that.
I understand they're in separate lines, but money, as they always taught me, is fungible. And, you know, that is the dollars that could be used for other functions, and that's why I think we have to look at this carefully. Do you know if there are plans to ask for more money to fund offshore wind one way or another, even though the funds have already allocated to these projects previously?
Sir, MARAD's contributions to offshore wind support include port infrastructure development, as you have discussed, and also support through our Title 11 shipbuilding program. Those are the two areas where we are most engaged in offshore wind opportunities.
Okay, so I know you can't answer this question in your position, but I was going to ask you, do you believe offshore wind is still a worthy investment? And I know you're going to give me a really good answer that that's not your job to determine, something along those lines. But I would think it's not, and I think that in these really frugal times, as you hear this committee talk about investments that they'd like to see in other areas that are very much needed and are pending, that we perhaps could spend our money better. Appreciate your answers. To me, the offshore wind developments are a waste of taxpayers' money and MARAD's money when it is exclusively for them. I would urge the administration to stop spending money on those projects and for some of these other good projects we have. In my mind and many others, they still actually pose a threat to maritime safety, to navigation, to fishing, to the whales, to the environment, to tourism, and to our utility rates, which I know is something you don't deal with, but our utility rates are going to increase significantly, drastically because of them. So I'm hopeful that we don't go forward with them. Thanks for your answers, and Chairman, I yield back.